Welcome to Deep for No Reason. It's Davina, and today I'm coming at you from the prayer closet. No, really, this is my prayer closet. And today we're going to be talking about rest and peace and what the difference is. And I've got a few questions for you to kind of reflect on. What's it looking like in your life? Are you at rest? Do you need peace? Like, what's really going on? Are the two connected? That's what I really want to know. This past weekend, I decided to go to church with my sister, and it was the first time that I had been to a physical church in a long time because of the pandemic. And so I've spent a lot of time on YouTube and being a part of YouTube University, watching a variety of sermons. However, I went to church and it was an on-time word. And I wanted to share about what I gleaned from the sermon because in my community, in the wellness community, there's a lot of talk about people needing rest. And the pastor spoke a little bit about the difference between rest and peace and which one you really need. And so I want to break it down just a little bit to see if this will be a blessing to any of you or help any of you kind of reflect on your current situation. And so let's do this. The first thing that I want to start with is the question, are you trying to recoup anything that you lost during the pandemic? And I thought this was a really great question for the pastor to ask or just state, because I know that when the world opened back up, like it opened back up, so many people were like, oh, I want to travel. I want to go here. I want to do this. And we just really, really wanted to be outside. Like, I'm pretty sure #outside was and probably still is a thing. Are you stressing yourself out to recoup certain experiences that maybe you missed out on or that you didn't get to do because of the pandemic? I know in my community, in my circle, there's a lot of talk around travel and people wanting to get outside. And so if that's the case, the question is are you forcing and being really honest with yourself, are you forcing the issue of travel? And are you creating a burden for places that you are traveling to so that you can feel uplifted? There are plenty of places that are in the news about, asking folks, please don't travel here right now for whatever reasons. And so the first question is, whether it's travel or anything else, are you trying to recoup something that you lost? And the message was, you don't have to recoup anything because anything that did not happen wasn't supposed to happen. And maybe in this time of the pandemic, this was the opportunity for you to be set free from, and I don't want to say bondage, but free from a habit or a routine that really wasn't serving you. Like, I know people who love to travel, but they also will go broke trying to travel, right? And so just pause and reflect on that. Okay, that's the first question. The second question is around your availability. So I know for me, after I stopped teaching and practicing yoga in January of 2021, I went on somewhat of a sabbatical, and I was mentally not prepared to work with, for, or around anyone. So I spent my time mostly at the park, if I'm being honest. And so when I talk about availability, I want to know if, for example, it could be tied to the last question, if you have tried to recoup maybe the money that you lost because, say, you're an entrepreneur and your business, struggled during that time. And so now you're working double time to try to make up for what you lost or to recoup what you lost. And the reason why I want to ask this is because when you fill your cup so much that there's no space for the universe, there's no space for God, for all that you're doing and all that you're planning, Have you left room for God? Have you left room for source? Have you left room for nature? If you're like, I don't believe in all that, right? Have you left space for something else, right? Something that's greater than you to intervene, right? And to actually move you in a direction that your life is called to be moved in? Or are you gripping the reins so tight that nothing can shake you, right? And now you're in control. And if you know anything about control issues, sometimes when we are so controlling and we don't want to let up the reins, we get it wrong. It's natural, it's normal, and it's fine. So that second question is are you available? What's your availability like? You know what I'm saying? Like what's your availability like? And the third question that I have is, are you willing to build something that you've never seen before? Are you willing to build something maybe that you don't have the skill set for? Are you willing to build something that isn't just for your benefit? And the reason why I'm asking that after the previous question is that sometimes when we are so caught up in building our own, right, our own business, the life that we want to live, that we forget about the collective. We forget about the impact that our decisions make on the collective. And when I say collective, I don't mean anything spiritual. I'm literally talking about every other person in the whole world, right? So when we choose to create offerings, businesses, habits, routines, and we don't consider, right? We don't consider other people and the impact that it may have on other people, then we rob ourselves of the opportunity to do something that is really impactful. And I don't know about you, but right now in this world today, I feel like there is a need for something that will shift the lives of so many people. And that's going to require building something that has never been seen before, that has an impact beyond our intimate circles, right? Because the way things are set up right now, it's a little raggedy out there, okay? It's a little raggedy, and I do believe that God is calling us to come together collectively to build something that is for an uplifting of people and not of ourselves. I feel like for a long time we've had that opportunity to be very selfish in terms of, I think of social media, and to put ourselves out there and to promote ourselves, and it's all about me, right? There's been that time. And I think after the experience that we've had over the last couple of years, that it might just be a really good idea for us to come together, for us to make an impact on hundreds of thousands of even millions of people by the choices that we make. Now, what I'm suggesting is that whatever impact is going to be made is not going to be made based off of people. I'm suggesting that we create the space in our lives for God to move. I'm suggesting that we create the space for God to orchestrate, to align us with the people that we need to be in community with to make great change, to make these huge shifts. And the only way that we, can create this space for God to do what he does is to sit down somewhere, which goes to the topic of rest and peace. So you can say like, oh, I'm tired. I've been through a lot. We've been through a lot. There's a lot going on. I need to rest. Well, have you ever laid down after a long day? Maybe you were scrolling on your phone too right before you laid down, and you proceeded to toss and turn for hours. You were laying down, however, you were unable to actually rest. Okay? If you've experienced that, consider this, The difference between rest and peace is that when you have peace, you can actually rest. Okay. So without peace, you can be like, I need to rest. I'm prioritizing my rest. But if you're not at peace, if your heart is not at peace, then you actually are not going to be able to rest. That is what the sermon was about, was the difference between rest and peace. And I know that there's a movement around rest, and like, it's a way for people to stand up for themselves and say, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to take rest. And I want us to be mindful of saying, no, I want to rest and then still be wrestling. Okay. Give yourself that peace, that true peace. Now, wherever you find peace is going to be a little bit different than where I find peace. But my invitation to you is to identify what it is that brings you peace. And for me, that peace comes in solitude, stillness, and in silence, so that I can hear from God, so that I can hear my next orders, my next steps. Because when I'm in control, there is no rest. And there definitely is no peace, because I'm moving and I'm shaking and I'm hustling and I'm grinding. And if anything, the pandemic taught me was that I don't want that life. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to grind. I want to serve God, and I trust God to provide for me in such a way that I don't ever have to hustle and grind again. Now, that may not be your story. That may not be the way that you find peace. My invitation to you is to sit down, get in reflection, so that you can see what it is that you need to do in your life to bring in more peace. That way we can build collectively, right? I have an assignment, you have an assignment. Our neighbors have assignments, right? And some of us are going to work together. And some of us are going to be on the same accord, which is beautiful. And then some of us have different assignments, and I bless all of you in your assignments, because each of us is needed in this journey. Cool? All right, that was Deep for No Reason for today. We covered rest and peace. And if you still have questions about the difference between rest and peace, hit me up in the comments and I will absolutely share with you a little bit more about the difference. In the meantime, you can hit the subscribe button, hit like, share this with your friends, get in conversation. Even if you're like, I don't like doing the whole comment thing on YouTube, I encourage you to share this video with a friend and have a conversation about it. All right, until next time, peace.